Okay, this is just going to be a little guide on doing these dream sequences with all 10 idols on. The setup is pretty much the same for all 4 of them, so we'll just go over the loadout real quick. I'm going to be using the pike and the cannon. I believe the special for the Calamity Rockets is one of the best. It has not a whole lot of damage, but the knockback on it is really good to push enemies off the map if you don't want to fight them. So for the pike, we're just going full melee setup. I really think the ignore armor is super useful. So if you like to go throwing for some reason, I still say pick up ignore armor. And for the cannon, we're going pretty much pure damage and attack speed. So we're grabbing knockback, charge up speed over radius. We're going damage over reload speed and more charge up speed over radius. This bottom one here is optional. I tend to not like the seek. The damage fields comes in handy, but the seeking can kind of make it hard to hit targets that you want to prioritize. If you have a bunch of squirts in your face and you're trying to hit something behind them, the tracking's going to make it impossible to hit it. And for our drinks here in the distillery, it's a mix between defensive and offensive. So we've got some health and crit and some reflect damage. Healing when you counter block, which will come in handy a little bit. It's not super mandatory, but it helps. Some damage resistance. The Zealous, a little bonus I like. It's not going to come in to play very often, but it is nice. Leech Aid is probably the most important one. The side effects obviously hurt, but because the idols make it so enemies don't drop tonics, we don't have a lot of them. This is a very, very good way to maintain a full health pool, especially some of the waves in the later levels will have really tanky enemies that you can go from no health to full health. So if you're going to grab any of these 100%, the Leech Aid is the most important. And the Champagne, it's probably not good to use. I like the damage, but you have no downs. If you lose all your health, that's it. You have to start back from the beginning. So I would take or leave this one. If you're pretty confident, take it. If not, that damage you'll miss the damage because the enemies do regenerate, but better safe than sorry, huh? And just showing everything's active. Really the main things, well, why we're using the spear is this Akobe here and this one here, this U-Drake. The hammer, you have to get way too close. You just constantly take damage from the 2 of these. So that's that. And we'll get into it right here. Alright, I'm gonna do the pipe. And this is the easiest of the 4. There's a couple waves that are tricky, but there's really only one enemy that causes an issue in those waves. So as long as you know how to take him out, this one will be no problem at all. But we're introduced to that enemy here in this first wave. That guy, that spinning gasman. He is the only enemy in every wave that can cause an issue. Because they put sloth on you when they hit you. If you get caught in a corner with him on top of you, it's very hard to get out of it.
Fair to say he's led a hard life. Supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie. never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his.
You don't want to stand too close to enemies when you kill them, because they do drop those little grenades. Especially these really weak enemies that there's a lot of. If you get hit with a couple of those grenades, it can end a run really, really quickly.
His mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there. School ain't working out.
You can see why we use the cannon. It's a huge amount of damage that they can't regen through.
Thanks to folks like the kid.
Took more damage than probably should have there.
The elements, the Ura, you name it.
Oh, forgot you can't block him. And that is another thing to be careful of. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but they can reflect the rockets back into you. If you're low on health like I am, it's pretty dangerous. So like a wave like this is why the healing on damage is super useful, because here's 3 really tanky enemies and it'll bring us back to full health pretty much. So you saw last wave we had almost no health, and now we're back to full without wasting a tonic.
The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found.
Oh. And this wave, I believe, is like 3 of these spinny guys. This is one of the more dangerous waves. So what you can do is do what I just did, or use these. It's a lot safer than jumping in holes. But if they get too close to you, and you have a lot of health, jumping in a hole or using the little skyway lift,
so what the kid do?
They don't track you while you're in the air. So
for another 5 years.
and he does spin and kill some of the smaller guys, which is useful. Aiming with a controller is still hard.
Nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls. Out there, a kid learned to fend for himself, learn to build, learn to break.
Yeah, waves like this, you can see the importance of the pike and keeping your distance. It's very much a hit and run.
Time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody.
Too much going on in there. Really want to get that. Yeah, if you poke a turret and it gets the immunity from oak, just get out of there real quick. Losing a lot of floor here.
Them shuddered, cracked, and split apart.
Another reason I really like the spear is little moments like that. If something lands on you, you get a lucky crit.
Where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that.
Alright, green guys, you can't block. Made that mistake earlier. Ooh. That was a pretty lucky guess.
His hammer and the clothes on his back.
I knew that turret was up there somewhere. Oh. Oh, he's up here in the corner. I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw him land. Good thing they are just as dumb as I am and jump off the edge.
With nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him.
And these big guys, I'm pretty sure after all of these big guys are the spinning guys. So these are really useful to top your health off with. It can kind of be exploited if you still have very low health, because the enemies regenerate. You can just hit them a couple times and just kite them around, and while they regenerate you can hit them again. Let's get rid of this guy. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it. I wonder if they just got stuck with no floor to walk on. So now if I'm right, I'm pretty sure this is a wave with like 3 or 4 of those spinny guys. Yep. So what you want to do is kind of stay next to this, so if that happens, you can just get out.
But then, all they got was more thankless work.
Should only be 2 more waves.
Ain't even asked his name.
Ignore that turret and just get rid of this so we don't have stuff running around.
Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up
And I'm pretty sure this last wave is just one of those mechanical pith. Yeah, this guy doesn't do very much damage. You can literally just tank it. Huh, it's more than I thought. And that is that.
I'll never forget him or what he's doing.
Oh.
What he's done.
The fact that that can go immune is hilarious. And there we go. It's, again, one of the easier ones. But just to show you, because I'm pretty sure there was a cut in between the intro and now, but there was the shrine. Everything was on. Alright, that was it. Thanks for watching, and have a good one, guys.